Hi everyone, my name is Tamit Saleh and I wanted to ask you guys the question, is the Laver Cup a waste of time? The Laver Cup of course begins on Friday. It is an annual team tournament and it's really split the tennis community. Some think it's a great idea, others think not so much, it's a waste of time, and that is really the topic of today's discussion. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe, as I do release weekly tennis videos. Last week, or well, a few days ago, I looked at the ATP Cup. The draw was announced and how it's all playing out. And before that, I was asking you guys the question, will Rafa Nadal break Roger Federer's Grand Slam record? If you want to watch either of those videos, I'll be putting a link up there somewhere and also in the description below. But for today, I wanted to look at the Laver Cup, the two teams, the history of it, and yeah, ask you guys the question, is the Laver Cup a waste of time? So without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely whoa. He's taken them apart.
So the Laver Cup is an annual competition. It is a team competition between Europe and rest of the world. I feel like that is where some of the problems may lie, as you know, it is very difficult to get too invested in it. Of course, if you're a European, you're going to support Europe, but then having the other 6 or 7 continents into just a genre like Team World, you know, it is quite difficult to support that. Whatever continent you're from, it may seem as a bit disrespectful as well. And the teams aren't balanced, are they? Like, if you look at the two teams, Europe just dominates every year, really. The scorelines haven't suggested it, as Team World were leading at the last day at one point last year, and the year before it was, you know, it went down to the final match as well. But just on paper, every year, you know, it's a bit unfair on Team World. This year, looking at the teams, Team Europe are massive favourites again to win it for a third year running. In Team Europe, there's Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Dominic Thiem, Alexander Zverev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, and their lowest ranked player, number 11 in the world, Fognini. That's the lowest ranked player, guys. On the contrary, if you look at Team World, their highest ranked player is John Isner, world number 20. The rest of the team, Raonic, Nick Kyrgios, Taylor Fritz, Shapovalov, and Jack Sock make up the rest of the team for Team World. Jack Sock, his singles ranking is 210. However, he is known to be a bit of a double specialist. He always turns up in the Laver Cup as well. So yeah, that's why he's in that team. Just by looking on paper, I mean, look at Team Europe. You've got the world number 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 11. And that's, you know, they've not even got players like Novak Djokovic in the team, the world number 1. And you would still have them as odds-on favourite to win it. This is why a lot of people aren't too interested in it, because you just know who's going to win it before the tournament's even started, really. I feel Team World really need a player that can challenge the big boys of Team Europe. Del Potro could have been that guy, Anderson could have been that guy, but as you know, injury problems have, you know, kind of ruined their chances of taking part. The lack of players or top players from the USA is also a bit of a problem, but that is really where most of the problems stem from. Another criticism of the Laver Cup is that whilst the tennis calendar is already packed with events and players struggling to keep fit for the whole season, battling injuries and so on, a lot of the fans of, well, particularly Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer, they don't want their players playing a tournament where there's no ranking points on offer and then unnecessarily injuring themselves or scuppering their chances for the remainder of the season. With the big three, they're all fighting for history now, so it's not just one tournament or one Grand Slam or being world number 1. Every week at number 1, every slam, every title just counts now. The Laver Cup seems to be a very expensive tournament as well. Ticket prices have been notoriously high, and it seems like a lot of the players are playing maybe for the money. There's a lot of money in this tournament. I think the winner of each member of the winning team gets $250,000, and even the losing team gets participation fees. So it does seem like a lot of players may be in it for the money and so on. Fans don't like it. On the contrary, if you look at some of the pros of the Laver Cup, you get some historical moments and matchups and teammates you wouldn't really see outside of the Laver Cup. In the first year of it, in 2017, we had the iconic Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal doubles matchup. It was a sight to behold. You know, a lot of the tennis world, it never happened before where Federer and Nadal, two of the most loved players in the game, partnered up for doubles. It was only made possible by the Laver Cup. We had that point where they were both going for the overhead smash and Rafa almost hit Roger, an iconic moment and one that's replayed over and over. Yeah, you wouldn't have that without the Laver Cup. Last year in 2018, we had Djokovic and Federer partner up in the doubles, another iconic moment. And then one historic moment from that match really was when Novak Djokovic hit that forehand straight into the back of Roger Federer. It was very funny, Federer claiming he was trying to injure him as a joke, of course. Likewise with Novak joking about it. So yeah, it does have its moment, and these two moments alone will live on forever. And it was only made possible by the Laver Cup. Some other pros of the Laver Cup is you get to see the players interacting with each other in a much less stressful environment. They seem to be having more fun. All the players, Team World and Team Europe, they bring a lot of energy into it. And if you look at some of the team celebrations, they look rehearsed and they've planned for these moments. It is great. It's a lot of high energy. But at the same time, not taking anything away from it. But a lot of the matches are very close, which is good for tennis. But then you think maybe Team Europe are taking it a bit easy just to make it a bit closer and more interesting. There's been a lot of theories that some of the matches are being fixed. I personally don't believe in these conspiracy theories, but they're out there. And yeah, so you have very close matches. I think last year almost every game went to the third set, which was a bit strange, as yeah, you don't really see that many close matches. I'd like to quickly tell you guys the results of the previous two seasons. This is, of course, the third season in Geneva. So the first ever edition of the Laver Cup was in 2017 in Prague. Europe won that tie 15-9. Last year it took place in Chicago. Europe once again won that 13-8 with the last match. It wasn't even necessary. And yeah, so with the Laver Cup, the format of it is it will always go down to the last day regardless. Because each day you have 4 matches, which is 3 singles and a doubles. However, on day 1, each win is worth 1 point. On day 2, each win is worth 2 points. And on day 3, each win is worth 3 points. So because of that scoring system, it is impossible for any side to win the Laver Cup within the first 2 days, as yeah, because day 3 is worth 3 points a win, it just makes it mathematically impossible, which means it does go through to a third day every time. And that is really the pros and cons for the Laver Cup. I just wanted to ask you guys the question, is it a waste of time? Is it worth watching? Are you going to watch it, or are you just going to simply tune in to watch the Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal doubles match we're going to have this year? A lot of fans do seem to be split on it. Personally, I think I like the Laver Cup. I'm not going to lie to you. It is fun. Those black courts look slick. And you get to see some fun matchups and unique matches in the Laver Cup. So yeah, let me know what you think. As always, I do love to hear what you guys have to say. I try to respond to most, if not all of your comments. And if you can, I'd appreciate that sub button. If you've been keeping an eye on it, we are almost at the 1,000 subs mark. It's an unbelievable support you guys have given me. This channel is less than 3 months old, and to get here as quickly as we have, I really do appreciate all the support, all the love you guys have given. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video and want to stay tuned in for future videos, hit that sub button, hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set,